Picture a small weathered house on the edge of a forgotten town. The paint's peeling, the roof leaks, and the windows rattle in the wind. Inside, a kid named Chris sits at a wobbly kitchen table, pencil in hand, scribbling dreams in a tattered notebook. He's 12 years old, but his eyes carry a weight most grown folks never know. This is where our story begins. A story of struggle, of heart, of becoming Chris the Achiever. You ever felt like the world's stacked against you? Like every step forward gets you 2 steps back? That was Chris's life from the jump. Born into a family where money was a rumor and hope was a luxury, Chris grew up knowing hunger, not just for food, but for something more. His mom worked double shifts at a diner, her hands cracked from washing dishes, her smile fading with every bill she couldn't pay. His dad? Gone before Chris could even remember his face. But in that tiny house, Chris found something no one could take away. A spark. A belief that he was meant for more. Now let's be real. Growing up like that, it's easy to feel small. The other kids at school had new sneakers, packed lunches, parents who showed up to games. Chris? He had secondhand clothes, a growling stomach, and a mom too tired to cheer. Kids can be cruel, you know. They'd laugh at his worn-out shoes, call him Charity Case Chris. Ever been laughed at for something you couldn't control? It stings. But Chris didn't let it break him. He'd walk home, head high, and in that notebook he'd write, "One day I'll show them. One day I'll be somebody." That notebook was his sanctuary. Page after page of dreams, big ones, wild ones. He wanted to build something, to create, a life where no one in his family would ever go hungry again. He'd sketch ideas for businesses, imagine himself in a suit, shaking hands with people who believed in him. You got a dream like that? Something that keeps you up at night, burning in your chest? Chris did. And even at 12, he knew dreams don't just happen. You gotta fight for 'em, but fighting's hard when life keeps swinging. By 16, things got worse. His mom got sick, real sick. Hospital bills piled up and the diner let her go. Chris took a job bagging groceries after school, every penny going to keep the lights on. Nights were spent studying by a flickering bulb, trying to stay awake, trying to believe school could be his way out. Ever felt like you're carrying the world on your shoulders? Chris did, but he kept moving, one foot in front of the other. That's what he told himself. Just keep moving. High school wasn't kind. Teachers saw him as another kid from the wrong side of town, not worth the effort, except one. Ms. Carter, his history teacher, saw that spark. She'd stay late, helping him with homework, slipping him books to read. "Chris," she'd say, "you've got a mind that can change the world. Don't let this place dim your light." You ever had someone believe in you when you didn't believe in yourself? That's what Ms. Carter did for Chris. She gave him hope when hope was running low. Graduation came, and Chris walked across that stage with a diploma and a fire in his gut. No college money, no connections, just a dream and a work ethic that wouldn't quit. He moved to the city, chasing opportunity. But the city's a tough place when you're starting from nothing. First, you know that feeling, when you're knocking on doors and nobody's answering. Chris knocked, and knocked, and knocked. His first job was cleaning offices at night, sweeping floors, emptying trash cans, watching suits leave in fancy cars while he scrubbed their messes. It wasn't glamorous, but Chris didn't care. Every dollar saved was a step toward his dream. He'd listen to business podcasts on his breaks, soaking up knowledge like a sponge. He'd jot ideas in that same tattered notebook, now held together with tape. What's your notebook? That place where you keep your dreams safe? Chris never let his go, but life's got a way of testing you. A year in, Chris got a sales job at a small company. He poured his heart into it, learning fast, charming clients with his grit and grin. He was good, really good, until the company went under. Just like that, he was back to square one. No job, no savings, sleeping on a friend's couch. Ever lost something you worked so hard for? It's like the ground's ripped out from under you. Chris felt that. He felt like giving up. Nights. On that couch, he'd stare at the ceiling, doubts creeping in. Maybe I'm not cut out for this, he'd think. Maybe I'm just charity case Chris after all. But then he'd remember Ms. Carter's words. He'd remember his mom's tired smile, his own promises in that notebook. You ever had to fight your own mind? That's the hardest battle. Chris fought it, and he won. He got back up, took a job waiting tables, saved every tip, enrolled in night classes at a community college, studying business. He networked, hustled, pitched ideas to anyone who'd listen. One night, at a local entrepreneur meetup, he met Sarah, a small business owner who saw his spark. She took a chance, hired him to manage her store. Sometimes all it takes is one person to open a door. Who's that person for you? Or maybe you're that person for someone else. Chris didn't just manage that store, he transformed it. He worked late, redesigned displays, trained staff, boosted sales. Sarah noticed. You've got something special, she told him. You should be running your own show. Those words lit a fire. Chris started planning. He saved, researched, wrote a business plan. 2 years later, he launched his own company, a small logistics firm helping local businesses ship goods faster, cheaper, smarter. You feel that? That moment when a dream starts becoming real? Chris did. It wasn't easy. The first year, he barely broke even. Suppliers backed out, clients were skeptical, and self-doubt was a constant shadow. But Chris kept moving. He worked 18-hour days, learned from mistakes, built trust. By year 2, his company was growing. By year 3, it was thriving. Success isn't a straight line, is it? It's a grind. But Chris grinded, and he won. Today, Chris the Achiever isn't just a name, it's a legacy. His company employs dozens, serves communities, and turns profits that let him give back. He funds scholarships for kids like he was, kids with dreams but no dollars. He speaks at schools telling students, you are enough. Your struggle is your strength. You hear that? You are enough. Your story, your pain, your fight, it's all fuel for your greatness. Chris's mom? She's retired now, living in a house Chris bought her, smiling brighter than ever. That notebook? It's on his desk, a reminder of where he started. And Ms. Carter? She's at every company anniversary, beaming like a proud mom. Who are you fighting for? Your family? Your younger self? Keep them close. They'll carry you through. Now, let's talk about you. Yeah, you. You're listening to this, maybe feeling stuck, maybe doubting yourself, maybe life's hitting you hard right now. But here's the truth. You've got a spark, just like Chris. You've got dreams, just like he did. And you've got the power to keep moving, one step at a time. What's your next step? Not the whole plan, just the next move. Take it. Today. Chris, the achiever, wasn't born with a silver spoon. He was born with a fight in his soul. He turned pain into purpose, setbacks into stepping stones, and you can too. So what's it gonna be? Are you gonna stay down, or are you gonna rise? I know what Chris would say. He'd say, get up, keep moving. You've got this. This is your moment. Your story's not over. It's just beginning. So go write it. Go be the achiever you were born to be. The world's waiting. Imagine standing at the top of a mountain you've spent years climbing. The view's breathtaking, the air's crisp, and for a moment you feel unstoppable. But then, you hear it. A rumble. The ground shifts. And you realize the climb's not over. That's where we find Chris the Achiever now. He's built his dream, but the world's got new tests for him. This is part 2 of his story. A story of courage, of legacy, of rising when the stakes are higher than ever. Remember Chris, don't you? The kid from the weathered house, with a notebook full of dreams and a fire in his soul. He fought his way out of poverty, turned pain into purpose, and built a logistics company that's changing lives. He's not charity case Chris anymore. He's a leader, a giver, a man who's made his mom proud and his community stronger. But you ever notice how life doesn't let you rest? Just when you think you've made it, it throws you a curveball. That's what happened to Chris. See, success doesn't mean smooth sailing. Chris's company was thriving. Dozens of employees, contracts across the state, scholarships for kids with dreams like his. But then, a shadow loomed. A massive competitor moved into town, a corporate giant with deep pockets and zero heart. They undercut prices, poached clients, and spread whispers that Chris's little company couldn't compete. Ever felt like everything you've built is slipping through your fingers? Chris did, and it shook him. Nights became sleepless. He'd sit in his office staring at that tattered notebook, now a relic on his desk. Did I come this far? Just to lose it all, he'd ask himself. The weight was crushing, not just for him, but for his team, his family, the kids counting on those scholarships. You know that feeling? When you're not just carrying your own dreams, but everyone else's too? Chris felt it, and it was heavy. The competitors' moves hit hard. Clients started pulling out, lured by cheaper deals. Employees whispered about job security. Even Chris's mom, now living comfortably, saw the worry in his eyes. "You've been through worse, baby," she'd say. "You'll find a way." But doubt was a loud voice. Maybe I'm out of my league, Chris thought. Maybe this is where the dream ends. Ever had that voice in your head telling you you're not enough? It's a liar, but it's loud. Chris could have played it safe, cut costs, downsized, survived. But that wasn't him. He didn't build this company to just survive. He built it to thrive. So he dug deep. He called a team meeting, looked his employees in the eyes and said, "We're not going down without a fight. We're not just a company, we're a family, and families fight together." You feel that? That moment when you decide to stand tall, no matter what. Chris did. And it changed everything. But fighting meant innovating. The competitor had money, but Chris had heart and ideas. He spent nights researching, sketching new strategies in that notebook. He pitched a bold plan, pivot to eco-friendly logistics, using green tech to appeal to clients who cared about the planet. It was risky, expensive, untested. His team was nervous, but they trusted him. Ever had to bet on yourself when no one else would? That's what Chris did. Then came the blow. A major deal. A contract that could have funded the pivot. Fell through. The client backed out last minute, spooked by the competitor's smear campaign. The news hit like a punch. Chris sat alone in his office, head in his hands. "I can't do this," he whispered. You ever hit rock bottom? Where giving up feels like the only option. Chris was there, but rock bottom's got a secret. It's where you find your strength. That night, Chris walked the city streets, trying to clear his head. He ended up at a community center he'd funded where kids were laughing, learning, dreaming. A man approached. Him, Mr. Ellis, a retired entrepreneur who volunteered there. "You're Chris, right?" he said. "I've seen what you've done. You're struggling, aren't you?" Chris nodded, too tired to pretend. Mr. Ellis smiled. Every great leader faces a moment like this. It's not about avoiding fear, it's about walking through it. You ever had someone speak truth into your life at just the right moment? That's what Mr. Ellis did for Chris. Those words stuck. Chris went back to work with a new fire. He rallied his team, reworked the green tech plan, and pitched. It to smaller clients who valued purpose over price. He poured himself into the community center, starting a program to teach kids entrepreneurship. If I'm going down, he thought, I'm going down swinging and lifting others up. That's leadership, isn't it? Not just rising, but pulling others with you. The tide turned. One client signed on, then another. The green tech pivot caught attention. A local news story went viral, and suddenly, Chris's company was the underdog everyone rooted for. The competitors scrambled, but they couldn't match Chris's heart. By year's end, the company was back on track, stronger than ever. You see that? Sometimes the fight itself is what makes you unstoppable. Chris didn't stop there. He took his company global, partnering with communities in other countries to create jobs and share his model. He spoke at conferences, not just about business, but about purpose. Fear's not the enemy, he'd say. It's the signal you're on the right path. You hear that? Your fear's not a stop sign. It's a green light. Keep going. Today, Chris, the achiever is more than a man. He's a movement. His company's a beacon of what's possible when you fight for what matters. The community center, it's now a network, training thousands of kids to dream big. Mr. Ellis? He's on the board, grinning every time Chris speaks. And that notebook, still on his desk, filled with new dreams for his company, his community, the world. What's in your notebook? What dreams are you ready to chase? Let's talk about you. Yeah, you. Maybe you're facing your own giant right now, a job loss, a broken dream, a fear that's got you stuck. But here's the truth. You're stronger than you know. Chris faced his fears, and he didn't just survive, he soared. You can too. What's your next move? Not the whole plan, just one step. Take it. Now. Chris, the achiever, learned that success isn't about never falling, it's about rising every time you do. He built a legacy, not just for himself, but for everyone he touched. What's your legacy gonna be? Who are you gonna lift up? You've got that power. Use it. This is your moment. Fear's knocking, but so is opportunity. Open the door. Walk through it. You're not just an achiever, you're a force. Go make your mark. The world's ready for you. Picture a man standing at the edge of a vast ocean, waves crashing, horizon endless. He's come so far, built so much, but something's stirring inside, a question, a whisper. Is this enough? That's where we meet Chris, the Motivational achiever now. He's climbed mountains, faced giants, but the greatest journey is the one within. This is part 3 of his story. A story of purpose, of renewal, of leaving a mark that echoes forever. You know Chris by now. The kid with the tattered notebook, who turned hunger into hustle and built a logistics empire from nothing. The man who outsmarted rivals, went global, and lit up communities with hope. He's a leader, a giver, a name that means something. But you ever wonder what happens when the world calls you a success and you still feel lost? That's where Chris was, and it's where his greatest chapter begins. See, success can be a spotlight, but it casts shadows too. Chris was at the peak, his company thriving, his community centers training thousands, his speeches packing auditoriums. But the grind never stopped. Endless meetings, global trips, media hounding him for interviews. They called him a visionary, a hero. But inside, he was running on empty. Ever felt like you're giving everything but losing yourself? Chris did. And then life threw him a curveball. It started with a cough that wouldn't quit, then fatigue that sank into his bones. A doctor's visit turned into tests and the word no one wants to hear. We're concerned. You ever had a moment that stops time? Where the world shrinks to one truth. You're human, fragile, temporary. Chris sat in that sterile office, heart pounding, thinking of his mom, his team, the kids who looked up to him. I'm not done yet, he whispered. But fear was loud. The diagnosis wasn't the worst. It was treatable, but it meant slowing down, resting, stepping back. For Chris, that was harder than any rival. The media didn't help. Headlines speculated, is Chris the achiever crumbling? Critics pounced, competitors circled. His inbox overflowed with demands. His phone buzzed with worry from his team. You know that pressure? When the world expects you to be unbreakable? Chris felt it, and it was breaking him. He could have pushed through, ignored the warning signs, but something stopped him. That notebook, still on his desk, pages worn but dreams alive. He opened it, read the words he'd written as a kid. Be somebody. I've been somebody, he thought. But who am I now? That question sent him home, not to his city penthouse, but to that weathered house where it all began. Walking through his old town, Chris felt time collapse. The diner where his mom worked, the school where Ms. Carter believed in him, the street where he dreamed under flickering lights. His mom, now healthy and proud, made him dinner, her smile a reminder of why he'd fought. You look tired, baby, she said. Not your body, your soul. Ever had someone see right through you? That's what moms do, and she was right. Chris spent days there, reconnecting. He visited the community center, now a hub of dreams. That's where he met Aisha, a 15-year-old with a spark like his, sketching app ideas in a notebook of her own. She was shy but fierce, raised by a single dad, dodging the same taunts Chris once did. I want to build something big, she told him, but what if I fail? You ever see yourself in someone else? Chris did, and it woke him up. Aisha's question lit a fire. Chris started mentoring her, but she mentored him too. Her dreams reminded him of his own. Her courage showed him he'd lost his way. He realized he'd been chasing success, not purpose. What's your purpose? Not your job, not your title. What's the why that gets you out of bed? Chris had to find his again. He took a bold step, scaled back his role at the company. Trusting his team to lead, He focused on healing, body and soul, and he dreamed again, like that kid at the kitchen table. With Aisha's help, he sketched a new idea, a tech platform to connect entrepreneurs worldwide, giving kids like her tools, mentors, funding. You feel that? That moment when a dream feels bigger than you? Chris did, and he ran with it. Building the platform wasn't easy. Tech was new territory, investors were skeptical, and his health was still fragile. But Chris leaned on his team, on Aisha's ideas, on Mr. Ellis's wisdom. Purpose isn't about being perfect, Mr. Ellis said. It's about showing, you don't have to be perfect to make a difference, you just have to show up. Chris did. The platform launched, and it was a game changer. Kids in rural towns, single moms in cities, dreamers in distant countries, they logged on, learned, connected. Aisha's app idea got funded through it, her smile brighter than any profit margin. The media flipped. Headlines now read, Chris, the Achiever redefines success. Success isn't what the world says, it's what you leave behind. Chris was leaving hope. Today, Chris the Achiever is a name that resonates across borders. His platforms empowered millions. His company's stronger than ever, his health's back. He still speaks, but now it's about purpose. Your life's not about what you gain, it's about what you give. You hear that? Your pain, your fight, your dreams. They're not just for you. They're for the world. His moms, at every platform event, cheering. Aisha's in college, building her empire. Mr. Ellis and Ms. Carter, their family, their belief in Chris now a legacy for others. That notebook, it's full again. New dreams, not just for Chris, but for everyone he's touched. What's in your notebook? What mark will you leave? Now, let's talk about you. Yeah, you. Maybe you're at a crossroads wondering if your story matters. Maybe you're tired, scared, unsure. But here's the truth. You're not done. Chris found his purpose through pain, through doubt, through starting again. You can too. What's your why? Find it, chase it, live it. Chris, the Achiever, didn't just build a company, he built a movement. He showed us that purpose is the heartbeat of a life well lived. So what's your movement? Who are you gonna inspire? You've got that spark. Light it up. This is your time. Not tomorrow, not someday. Now. Step into your purpose. The world's not just waiting, it's counting on you. Go be the Achiever you were born to be.